Hey, so it's Leo, and I'm talking about my childhood. And yeah, it was a crazy time in my life. Um, I was kind of a lot like Elliot. Like I loved The Lion King. I actually my mom babysat these two guys. One is a few months older than me, and then the other one is a few years older than me. And then my cousin, who's 3 years older than me, she would come over. And then my neighbor, who is exactly a year and a half older than me, would play with us too. And we would watch The Lion King pretty much every day, and we all had our set parts. And I just remember, like, the two oldest, so the older guy and my cousin, they played like Mufasa, and then Simba when he was older, and then um like Simba's mom, and like the um and Nala, my cousin, would do those two. And then the guy a couple months older than me, he would do Simba when he was younger, and Timon. And then I got a bunch of extra parts because I always wanted to be Simba, but they always voted against me. Um, and then we would sharpen sticks. This is so bad. We would sharpen sticks, and then there were these, like, not like poisonous berries, but like they got you really sick if you ate them, but they were red. And so we'd like crush them up and like get the sticks all up, the like tips of the sticks all up in there. And then we would like run around and play like cowboys and Indians. And we would play cops and robbers, but someone always had to be, like, we did it where there was one cop, and then everyone else was the robbers. And like everyone would just get so mad when they had to be the cop that that game never really lasted that long. Um, but definitely I grew up as one of the guys. Um, with the exception of like my cousin was in there. But I have one really distinct memory when my neighbor, who's a girl, she and I were playing in her backyard, and she has like a huge backyard for living in town. And um like I was the guy and she was the girl, and like it was when you're little and you're like infatuated with the fact that guys pee standing up and girls pee sitting down. And so I was like using the hose to pretend that I was peeing standing up. And she like wanted nothing to do with it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So there's that. And just like, little things. Whenever we played, I would just like fight to be on the masculine side. And I definitely, like, when my mom would want to go shopping or do like feminine things, I would want nothing to do with it. And then my dad would be like, hey, let's go to a baseball game. And I'd be all over there, like going to the hardware with my dad and stuff. Like the stuff that dads generally take their little sons to do, I wanted to do. um, and it's just like growing up, never consciously, but just my dad and I were father and son, essentially. And then I think once I started showing the signs that I really did want to be and thought I was a boy, my dad started shying away from it. Kind of like in movies and stories and stuff when, like, oh, you're a girl, you're 13 now, you have to go clean and cook and stuff. And I mean, it's not like that necessarily, but definitely a lot less. of that. And he always called me boy. Like, hey, boy, get over here. To distinguish between me and my sister. And he called me Larry a lot, which I guess that would be my other name if I didn't take the name after my grandpa. Yeah, and I mean, I've always, like, I'd go to get my hair done at my mom's, where she, like, her hairstylist, and they would always be like, why don't you ever want to grow your hair out? And I'd be like, just chop the fuck it off. Like, what the hell? And yeah, like Elliot said too, when when I got to start picking my own clothes, always, like, I remember having to shop in, like, the Husky Boys section and being embarrassed because I felt fat and stuff. Or, like, I did not want to wear... I hit puberty so early. This is one of the most detrimental things to me. When my mom, like, had the periods talk, the, like, puberty talk with me, I mean, it came out of nowhere, first of all, and then she's like, you're gonna start bleeding out of your vagina, and I was just like, no, I'm not actually. That doesn't sound like fun. And I, like, cried for hours. And I cried when I got my first period, and I cried today because I had a little... Yeah, you can watch my personal channel on that one. Which I'm still not feeling the greatest about. I'm actually making this on Tuesday. But yeah, just like... I don't know, I just always... Like, when I tell... Like, it's really hard for me to be like, Mom and Dad, how do you not understand? Like, it's been here my whole life. And I do hope that someday we can have a relationship where I can be like, okay, listen, how did you not know when I was little? Like, why did you make me go through all this shit? But, yeah. I guess. My childhood, like, it was a pretty good childhood when you take out the whole gender thing. Which, gender isn't that big of a deal in the first place, so... Yeah. I hope you all have a good week and a happy hump day, and I'll talk to you all next week. See ya.